Reed. I am a real life trader, and I'm here reminding you to be good. And by good, I mean get out of debt, achieve your financial dreams, and give generously to your community. Thank you guys for being here, and thank you guys for watching this video. Some of you guys may know that I used to be a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt. And part of that job meant I was pretty deep into statistics. I was a chemical engineering by training. I have a bachelor's of science in chemical engineering and an MBA on top of that. All of that to say is that I'm pretty good at math. And I've been running some numbers, and I have figured out that somewhere over 50% of the people that are watching this video at some point in their life are likely to die. Not sure when, but statistically, it's over 50%. And unfortunately, a lot of people in America don't have a will, and it is something definitely that everybody needs over the age of 18. Also, with the statistics that I've run, a will does not increase this chance, but it can decrease the anxiety of the event if you're one of those that eventually does experience that event. So let's go into of a will and what it is. So first of all, I'm supposed to remind you that this is broad-based education, and if you do need specific individualized advice, you need to see a competent individual in your area. And then I need to take this one step further, because there are unfortunately some people out there who don't want me to bring you this information. So one by one, here we go. My name is Brad Reed, and I am not a lawyer. Only a lawyer can help you with your will or estate plan. I am not giving legal advice. The purpose of this video is to explain why you need a will, what a will is, and just a tiny bit of what happens if you don't have one. This video does not advise you on what goes in your will, okay? So I have been contacted by various legal authorities before, and nothing has been able to stick. I do know the rules, and I will stick to them. All right, here we go. The takeaways from the Financial Fundamentals series as a whole, and this video included, is success equals opportunity plus preparedness. We don't know when the opportunities are going to come, but we definitely need to be prepared. A big part of being prepared is having a plan. There's a lot of stock traders that are watching these videos, and as you guys know, every time we get into a stock trade, we have a plan. Where we're going to get in, how much we're going to risk, where we're going to get out if we're wrong, where we're going to get out if we're right. There's a plan. A lot of us have plans when we go on vacation, or even if we go to the grocery store, we at least have a grocery list. A budget, which we are going to tackle in 2 weeks, is a plan for every paycheck. And then, of course, a few weeks after that, we'll tackle the plan for retirement. Again, another key takeaway from the financial fundamentals is to spend less than you earn. This is one success towards being financially successful. And then the final bullet point down there is retirement equals spending less than your money grows, including inflation. A lot of people think retirement comes at a certain age. It does not. If you plan on retiring at a certain age, you may be woefully underprepared. You need to have a dollar goal for your retirement. And again, if you have enough money in savings and your investment plan, your investment opportunities are such that your money grows faster than you can spend it, including an inflationary factor, then you are ready for retirement, whether that is age 35 or 75. All right, so the Financial Fundamentals series, we are past the preparation. We're past the preseason coaches meeting and the planning and all that stuff. We're ready for pregame. So this is the morning, this is Sunday morning of a football team getting ready to play at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, or whatever your sporting event or athletic or mental event, whatever it is. This is the pregame. This is the getting ready to get out there and be good and go do it. Number one of your financial necessities is a will. I kind of think of the pregame as a three-legged stool that you're going to stand on, you're going to climb on. And you've got to have a solid foundation, a solid stool, a solid base to stack your finances on top of. And a will is a very, very important piece of that. Now, for those of you that are new to real life trading, if you go to www.reallifetrading.com, you will get for free stock reviews with trade setup with specific entries and exits. and we'll email those to you if you click on the account button in the upper right corner and go to setup. There's also education, free education on how to trade the market, whether you are a beginner or a seasoned pro, whether you're interested in long-term buy and hold, or if you want to day trade options. We got it all and it's all free. There's also a whole bunch of articles and videos. One that some of you guys may be interested in is how to choose a financial advisor. Another one is how to retire on 3K. Again, those are free. Those are over at www.reallifetrading.com. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff that's still coming. We're still building the site. And I don't know if we'll ever stop writing articles and recording videos. But at any rate, all of that's over there and we'll be over there. Let's get going. In this video, what is a will? What happens if you do not have a will? And how do you get started? Okay, so a will is basically the most popular name for an estate plan. And your estate plan could be a will, and again, a will is short for your last will and testament. You may have a family trust, you may have a living will, you may have directions on what happens to kids and money, but I'm just going to call all of that a will because that's the most common term. It's directions on what's going to happen to your real estate, your money, your stuff. It's how you provide care for surviving family, whether that's children, dependent adults, pets, whomever. If you have a will, the transfer of assets can happen relatively quickly, like measured in a number of weeks. There may be people that have a spouse that is dependent upon certain health care or medication or have special needs. And if the assets get tied up in a probate court, that spouse may not get those needs. The spouse may not get those money. That may be dependent children that need the money. It might be dependent parents that need the money. The point is that if you have a will, when you die, or I should say if you die, the transfer of assets from yourself to the people that need it or the people that you want it to go to will happen relatively easily. If you do not have a will, it will be a nightmare of epic proportions. So if you want to help the people that need the help, if you want to help the people, if you want your stuff to go to where you want it to go to, you need a will. Now, the number one most important thing to remember when you're doing a will is that a will cannot override account beneficiary designations. So when you opened up your bank account, when you opened up your stock trading account, when you opened up your 401k or 403b or IRA or Roth IRA or whatever account that you opened up, there's a box there where you have to say, hey, in the case of my death, I want this percentage of money to go to this person and this percentage of money to go to that person. That's called your beneficiary designations, and that will trump a will. So the point of this is some of you guys have accounts that have been open for 50 years. Some of you guys have had accounts that have been open since before you got married or before you had kids or before you got divorced or before this or before that. And those account beneficiary designations from ages ago, your will cannot override those. Let's go into more about what happens if there's no will. My estate planning attorney was on Fox News, and he started with, if you die with no will, then the state has one for you. You just may not like what it says. And it doesn't take long to do an internet search, and you can hear all the kinds of horror stories that happen when there's no will. One was a man dies assuming his many rental houses will go to his wife to provide for her retirement income. But instead, the state splits the properties between his wife and 3 estranged kids, and the kids didn't really care for the parents anymore, but the wife suddenly has half of the retirement income she thought that she was going to get and half that she needed. Another one, a couple buys a house and raises a family. They live in the same house for 50 years. When he dies without a will, the state forces her to sell the house because she's got to give part of the value of the house to the kids. So the point is of all this, if you don't have a house, if you don't have a will, then things can get really messy for the loved ones that you leave behind. Now, a while ago, I said the account beneficiaries trump the will. There are also tons and tons of stories about how the money that you left behind, and let's face it, most of us have our retirement in some sort of financial account, that the retirement accounts don't go to whom they're supposed to. They, instead of going to the current spouse, they go to the former spouse, or they go to one child instead of split between the 3 kids, or perhaps a widower leaves the account designation to one child and then gets remarried, and then instead of the the spouse getting the money, it can just go into weird places. I've even seen times where money gets forced to ex-girlfriends or ex-boyfriends because they were living together when they opened the account, but they ended up not getting married. And then, of course, a very popular account beneficiary is the church, and perhaps there are children or spouses that need the money for their retirement or for their financial needs, and instead it goes to the church because the person was a member of the church before they got married or before they had kids. The point is, will and update your account beneficiaries. A bold statement. I don't like making bold statements. I don't like blame. I don't like negativity, but there's pretty much no way around it. If you're over 18 and you do not have a will, you are irresponsible. All right, so how do you get a will? Well, number one, a lot of the people that are watching this may be in debt. And when you die, the court will force a sale of your assets, anything that you have of value. The court will force that to be sold if you owe money to people so that they can get paid off. So if you are in debt, if your debts are greater than your assets, then just go get a will from a legal website. Just off the top of my head, I think there's one called LegalZoom.com. There may be one called LegalForms.com. There's probably 5 or 10 different websites that you can get a will from. The point is that these wills are usually relatively cheap. They stand up in court. Get one that's appropriate for your state. They're usually quick and dirty because it doesn't really matter, because a lot of your assets or all of your assets are going to get sold to pay off the debts that you owe. Now, if you are positive on that scale, if you have more assets than debt, but you don't have a whole lot of assets, you're just either break even or a little bit on the plus side, you can probably talk to an estate planning attorney about a will. If you have a whole lot of assets, then you might want to talk about a trust. There's differences in taxes and costs and this and that. And again, I'm not an attorney and I'm not going to go into the details of what those differences are because that would be illegal. But you can talk, if you have more assets than debt, then you should probably be talking to an estate planning attorney about documents to help the proper distribution of those assets according to your will. Ugh, that sounded like a bunch of big words. Now, one question that people may be having is, Brad, how do I find an estate planning attorney? And how do I find a good one? Well, you can open up the Yellow Pages if, gosh, do Yellow Pages even exist anymore? You can certainly go to the internet and find one in your state, in your city. If you go to your bank, they will probably have one that they can recommend to you. If you go to your financial advisor, they will probably have one that they can recommend to you. But estate planning attorney should be relatively easy to find. I would suggest that you talk to several of them. Certainly, there are good ones and bad ones. There are expensive ones and there are inexpensive ones. And the trick is to find one that is thorough, that will write you a legal document that will hold up in court and will not be able to have holes punched through it, but then also you don't want to spend all of your assets on the document. Now, so that's creating a will. There are a lot of people that are watching this videos that have a will, it's just not updated. You must update your will when you have a significant life event like marriage, divorce, if you get new dependents, if you get new children, maybe your parents come into your care or another adult comes into your care, or significant life events, you need to update your will. Some wills are state specific. So if you move to a new state, like, I don't know, someone that you guys know and are listening to recently moved from Kansas to Indiana. And I had to go and make sure that my will, that my wife's and mine will, was valid in the state of Indiana because we don't want to die in the wrong place. Also, verify the beneficiaries on your accounts immediately. Have I said that once or twice, that you need to check on the beneficiaries of your accounts? That is very, very, very important. All right, always do this. Your family will be distraught when you die. Help them out by having a will. Don't make them guess. Have a proper will that holds up in court. Have a proper will that will transfer the assets quickly and cleanly. If you do not have a will, not only are people going to be distraught, they're going to be, most people, I shouldn't say most people, many people will have never gone through this whole probate process and this whole taking care of a will type stuff before. So, help them out by having a good quality will. Care for your loved ones after you die as well as, or better than, before you die. It's important to do it, make things easier. Um, there may be family members that you're mad at now when you write the will. There may be family members that you don't like when you die. But I want to encourage you, forgive now, be fair, be equitable with your will, spread the love, don't perpetuate the hate, whatever. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Um, leave a good impression, leave a good example, live as a good example. All right, so again, the takeaway: success equals opportunity plus preparedness. If you have a will, it will allow you to be prepared for when it's time for you to pass your assets on to your survivors. And again, remember, those survivors may be spouses or children or other dependents that are in need of care, that are in need of those assets. They may not be in need now, but at the time of your death later on, they may need those assets, and they may need those assets to transfer quickly and easily. Have a plan. Will is obviously a plan on how your assets will be transferred. Between now and then, spend less than you earn. That is very, very important if you want to be financially successful. And then retirement takes that spend less than you earn to another level, because you can retire when you are spending less than your money grows after inflation. All right, so homework. Schedule a date with your partner, spouse, mentor, friend, whomever. But schedule a date with someone and create and or update your will. After you have scheduled that date, do it. Okay, there's lots of people that have wanted to do a will. Oh, I think we should do that. It's probably kind of important since we have 2 kids, and we've never really talked about who's going to take care of our kids in case both of us die. But that's probably never going to happen. We're never going to die, so we don't need a will. Yeah, not. Do the will, folks. Please, please, please do the will. Love your family. Take care of them. Verify and update beneficiary information on all of your accounts. Please, please, please. Now, if you want to take this to another level, you can create what I'm going to call a funeral file. And it's a big folder somewhere that has your will in it. It's got contact information for key family and friends, so that in the case of your passing, someone can come and find this file, and it's got everyone who to call. It's got their email addresses, it's got their phone number and addresses. It's got all the information of where your bank is. It's got the information on your mortgage. By the way, if you do happen to die, and maybe you are the person that takes care of writing the bills, and your spouse or your kids or your survivors plan on living in that house in the case of, after you die, it sure would be nice if it doesn't get foreclosed upon. And it sure would be nice if the utility companies don't turn off the electricity and the water. So it's kind of important that you leave all that information somewhere where someone can find, so that they can pay the bills if you are unable to do so. Also put down information on where the money is, who the financial advisors are, titles for the vehicles, for the cars, the boats, the planes, the jets, the yachts that you're going to have, keys to all the houses and the rental houses and the cars and the boats and the yachts and the planes, and then any instructions to supplement your will. Jenny and I were kind of surprised when we did our will, like some of our smaller stuff that, like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to give away too much information, but the TV, who's going to get the TV? Who's going to get the stereo? Who's going to get the furniture? Who's going to get the piano? Big stuff that we want to direct how it goes, but it may not be in the will because it may not be considered a financial asset. Those assets may not be there when we die. But there are other parts that go into the estate plan than just the will that can be extra instructions. If you want to, if you don't think it would be a security risk, you might also put down some passwords on maybe some of these financial accounts, websites, emails, stuff like that, so that your survivors can find important information. Oh, and by the way, tell your friends and family how to find your funeral file. I want to say thank you to my parents and thank you to my in-laws for having a funeral file and for telling me where it is. I appreciate that. That definitely shows that you love. And then the final thing that you can choose to do or choose not to do is have a reading of your will to prepare your friends and family. Because remember, when you die, it is probably going to be a shocking event. No matter how much notice people get, it's still going to be a shock. People are going to be distraught. And if people kind of already know what's going to happen, it just makes things so much smoother for the people that are surviving you and the people that you love. So again, take action. Verify beneficiaries on all your accounts. Go get that estate plan done, whether it's a will, estate plan, a trust, or whatever. Review and update your financial mission and commit to changing your life forever. Folks, a will, a retirement plan, an estate plan. Sorry, I threw a retirement plan in there. A will and an estate plan is a very crucial piece of your financial success that you're going to have. If something happens to you and you are building this financial success and you don't have a will and there is a death in your family, whether it's you or your spouse or someone that's included, that can be like pulling a leg out of the stool that your whole finances are standing on. Build that foundation, get that stool built, and then as the weeks go on and we conclude through this financial fundamental series, we will build on it and we'll make it awesome. Cool, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Live life, love life, and trade it, as the most awesome Sir Isaac Newsom would say. And of course, you know my final saying is always trade on logic, not on hope. Have a good one, everybody.